All things are lessons God would have you learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. All things are lessons God would have us learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. Forgive and you will see this differently. Forgive and you will see this differently. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus: I will forgive and this will disappear. All things are lessons God would have you learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. Forgive and you will see this differently. Forgive and you will see this differently. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus: I will forgive and this will disappear. All things are lessons God would have you learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles this year. And I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks. And we're ready for Lesson 193 for Friday, July the 12th of 2025. This lesson. Lesson 193 is all things are lessons God would have me learn. So everything that happens to you can be looked on in such a way that it speeds your way on to God, to joy, to love, to happiness. There doesn't have to be anything that stops you. Every difficulty you may have can be wind in your sail to drive you to God, to happiness. What a wonderful, wonderful thing to learn to do. So let's learn it. And basically it's through the practice of forgiveness. Learn to let go of the things that aren't making you happy and to search the mind for those ideas that are contrary to God, therefore contrary to your happiness. All things are lessons God would have me learn. God does not know of learning, yet his will extends to what he does not understand, in that he wills the happiness his Son inherited of him be undisturbed, eternal, and forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation, eternally open and wholly limitless in him. That is his will, and thus his will provides the means to guarantee that it is done. Okay, let's figure out what God's will is again. Let's read that first paragraph again. God does not know of learning. He just knows. Yet his will extends to what he does not understand. He doesn't understand learning, but his will extends to those whose learning is necessary in order to get them out of the dire predicament that they find themselves. God does not know of learning, yet his will extends to what he does not understand, in that he wills the happiness his Son inherited of him be undisturbed, eternally and forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation, and eternally open and wholly limitless in him, in God. That is his will. And thus his will provides the means to guarantee that it is done. Can we say that we are in God's will? Can we say that that our will is happiness, and that we're undisturbed, eternally and forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation, and eternally holy, open, and wholly limitless in Him? That is His will. And thus His will provides the means to guarantee that it is done. God sees no contradictions, yet His Son believes He sees them. Thus He has a need for one who can correct his erring sight and give him vision that will lead him back to where perception ceases. God does not perceive at all, yet it is He who gives the means by which perception is made true and beautiful enough to let the light of heaven shine upon it. It is He who answers what His Son would contradict and keeps His sinlessness forever safe. These are the lessons God would have you learn. His will reflects them all, and they reflect His loving kindness to the Son He loves. Each lesson has a central thought, the same in all of them. The form alone is changed, with different circumstances and events, with different characters and different themes, apparent but not real. They are the same in fundamental content. It is this: forgive, and you will see this differently. Your joy's not complete? Forgive, and you will see this differently. Creation, certain it is. Certain it is that all distress does not appear to be but unforgiveness. Yet that is the content underneath the form. Certain it is that all distress of mind does not appear to be but unforgiveness, but that is the content under the form. It is this sameness which makes learning sure, because the lesson is so simple that it cannot be rejected in the end. No one can hide forever from a truth so very obvious that it appears in countless forms, and yet is recognized as easily in all of them, if one but wants to see the simple lesson there. Forgive, and you will see this differently. Forgive, and you will see this differently. These are the words the Holy Spirit speaks in all your tribulation, all your pain, all suffering, regardless of its form. These are the words with which temptation ends, and guilt, abandoned, is revered no more. These are the words which end the dream of sin and rid the mind of fear. These are the words which end the dream of sin and rid the mind of fear. These are the words by which salvation comes to all the world. What are the words? Forgive, and you will see this differently. To anything that speaks of some kind of distress, learn to forgive. He'll amplify this. This is really wonderful. Shall we not learn to say these words when we are tempted to believe that pain is real and death becomes our choice instead of life? Shall we not learn to say these words, all things are lessons God would have me learn? Shall we not learn to say these words when we are tempted to believe that pain is real and death becomes our choice instead of life? Shall we not learn to say these words when we have understood their power to release all minds from bondage? These are the words which give you power over all events that seem to have been given power over you. You see them rightly when you hold these words in full awareness, and do not forget these words apply to everything you see or any brother looks upon amiss. How can you tell when you are seeing wrong or someone else is failing to perceive the lesson he should learn? Does pain seem real in the perception? If it does, be sure the lesson is not learned, and there remains an unforgiveness hiding in the mind that sees the pain through eyes the mind directs. The ego mind, the illusory mind, the self-concept of yourself that has formed an idol that's not according to your reality. But you can regain your inheritance by using forgiveness to show you the way, to your joyful, true self. Let's look at that paragraph again, 7. How can you tell when you're seeing wrong or someone else is failing to perceive the lesson he should learn? Does pain seem real in the perception? If it does, be sure the lesson is not learned, and there remains an unforgiveness hiding in the mind that sees the pain through eyes the mind directs. Wow, have you noticed that? You've been kind of upset with someone because they're not doing what you think they ought to be doing? That's pain. That's the distress that you can be freed from by doing what? Saying to yourself and meaning it. All things are lessons God would have me learn. Forgive, and you will see this differently. God would not have you suffer thus. He wants you to forgive and see things differently instead of being locked on to your brother's faults. He would help you forgive yourself. His son does not remember who he is, and God would have him not forget his love and all the gifts his love brings with it. Would you now renounce your own salvation? Would you fail to learn the simple lessons heaven's teacher sets before you, that all pain may disappear and God may be remembered by his Son? All things are lessons God would have you learn. Everything that happens, you don't have to feel distress. But if you do what? Practice this lesson. Forgive, and you will see this differently. All things are lessons God would have you learn. He would not leave an unforgiving thought without correction, nor one thorn or nail to hurt his holy Son in any way. Not one judgment that he's made to hurt his Son in any way. He would ensure his holy rest remain untroubled and serene, without a care, in an eternal home which cares for him. And he would have all tears be wiped away, with none remaining yet unshed, and none but waiting their appointed time to fall. For God has willed that laughter should replace each tear, and that his Son be free again. We will attempt today to overcome 1,000 seeming obstacles to peace in just one day. Let mercy come to you more quickly. Do not try to hold it off another day, another minute, or another instant. Time was made for this. Time was made to apply forgiveness. Give up what comes before you. Forgiveness. Recognizing what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. Let it go. It's an apparent reality. It's not real. It's only an appearance. Do not try to hold it off another day, another minute, or another instant to practice mercy or forgiveness. Same thing. Time was made for this. Use it today for what its purpose is. Morning and night devote what time you can to serve its proper aim, and do not let the time be less than meets your deepest need. Give all you can and give a little more. For now we would arise in haste and go unto our Father's house. We have been gone too long, and we would linger here no more. And as we practice, let us think about the things we saved to settle by ourselves and kept apart from learning. Let us give them all to him who knows the way to look upon them so that they will disappear. Truth is his message. Truth his teaching is. His are lessons God would have us learn, the Holy Spirit's lessons. Each hour spend a little time today and in the days to come in practicing the lesson in forgiveness in the form established for the day, and try to give it application to the happenings the hour brought, so the next one is free of the one before. The chains of time are easily unloosed in this way. Let no one hour cast its shadow on the one that follows, and when that one goes, let everything that happened in its course go with it. Thus will you remain unbound in peace eternal in the world of time. This is the lesson God would have you learn. There is a way to look on everything that lets it be to you another step to him and to salvation of the world. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus: I will forgive, and this will disappear. To every apprehension, every care, and every form of suffering, repeat these self-same words, and then you hold the key that opens heaven's gate and brings the love of God the Father down to earth at last, to raise it up to heaven. God will take this final step himself. Do not deny the little steps he asks you take to him. Wow, all things are lessons God would have me learn. And the lesson he wants us to learn is to tell ourselves in every situation that we deserve and we want to be happy, so use forgiveness. I will forgive, and this will disappear. I will forgive, and I will see this differently. Okay, let's go back and look in chapter 20, the vision of holiness, Roman numeral 7, the consistency of means and end. We have said much about discrepancies of means and end, and how these must be brought in line before your holy relationship can bring you only joy. But we've also said the means to meet the Holy Spirit's goal will come from the same source as does his purpose. Being so simple and direct, this course has nothing in it that is not consistent. The seeming inconsistencies, or parts you find more difficult than others, are merely indications of areas where means and end are still discrepant. And this produces great discomfort. This need not be. This course requires almost nothing of you. It is impossible to imagine one that asks so little and could offer more. Paragraph 2. The period of discomfort that follows the sudden change in a relationship from sin to holiness. In your relationship, have you changed from sin, to seeing the holiness of your brother? The period of discomfort that follows the sudden change in a relationship from sin to holiness may now be almost over. To the extent you still experience it, you are refusing to leave the means to him who changed the purpose. You recognize you want the goal. Are you not also willing to accept the means? If you are not, let us admit that you are inconsistent. A purpose is attained by means, and if you want a purpose, you must be willing to want the means as well. How can one be sincere and say, I want this above all else, and yet I do not want to learn the means to get it? To obtain the goal, the Holy Spirit indeed asks little. He asks no more to give the means as well. The means are second to the goal, and when you hesitate, it is because the purpose frightens you and not the means. Remember this, for otherwise you will make the error of believing the means are difficult. Yet how can they be difficult if they are merely given you? They guarantee the goal, and they are perfectly in line with it. Before we look at them a little closer, remember that if you think they are impossible, your wanting of the purpose has been shaken. For if a goal is possible to reach, the means to do so must be possible as well. 4. It is impossible to see your brother as sinless and yet to look upon him as a body. Is this not perfectly consistent with the goal of holiness? For holiness is merely the result of letting the effects of sin be lifted, so what was always true is recognized. Let sin be lifted so that what is true can be recognized. To see a sinless body is impossible, for holiness is positive, and the body is merely neutral. It is not sinful, but neither is it sinless. As nothing, which it is, the body cannot meaningfully be invested with attributes of Christ or of the ego. Either must be an error, for both would place the attributes where they cannot be, and both must be undone for purposes of truth. 5. The body is the means by which the ego tries to make the unholy relationship seem real. The unholy relationship, the relationship based on guilt and separation and anger and attack. The body is the means by which the ego tries to make the unholy relationship seem real. The unholy instant is the time of bodies, but the purpose here is sin. It cannot be attained but in illusions, And so the illusion of a brother as a body is quite in keeping with the purpose of unholiness. Because of this consistency, the means remains unquestioned while the end is cherished. Seeing adapts to wish, for sight is always secondary to desire. And if you see the body, you have chosen judgment and not vision. For vision, like relationships, has no order. You either see or not. 6. Who sees a brother's body has laid a judgment on him, and sees him not. He does not really see him as sinful. He does not see him at all. In the darkness of sin, he is invisible. He can but be imagined in the darkness, and it is here that the illusions you hold about him are not held up to his reality. Here are illusions and reality kept separated. Here are illusions never brought to truth and always hidden from it. And here in darkness is your brother's reality imagined as a body, in unholy relationship with other bodies, serving the cause of sin an instant before it dies. 7. There is indeed a difference between this vain imagining and vision. The difference lies not in them, but in their purpose. Both are but means, each one appropriate to the end for which it is employed. Neither can serve the purpose of the other, for each one is a choice of purpose employed on its behalf. Either is meaningless without the end for which it is intended, nor is it valued as a separate thing apart from the intention. The means seems real because the goal is valued, and judgment has no value unless the goal is sin. 8. The body cannot be looked upon except through judgment. To see the body is the sign that you lack vision and have denied the means the Holy Spirit offers you to serve His purpose. How can a holy relationship achieve its purpose through the means of sin? Judgment you taught yourself. Vision is learned from Him who brings... Judgment you taught yourself. Vision is learned from Him who would undo your teaching, Holy Spirit. His vision cannot see the body because it cannot look on sin, and thus it leads you to reality. Your holy brother, sight of whom is your release, is no illusion. Attempt to see him not in darkness, for your imaginings about him will seem real there. You closed your eyes to shut him out. Such was your purpose, and while this purpose seems to have a meaning, the means for its attainment will be evaluated as worth the seeing. And so you will not see. You'll be seeing his guilt body. And you'll be having a relationship with an illusion of him. But practice your lesson today. All things are lessons God would have me learn. Forgive, and you will see this differently. The last paragraph for the text reading, 9. Your question should not be, how can I see my brother without the body? Ask only, do I really wish to see him sinless? And as you ask, forget not that his sinlessness is your escape from fear. Salvation is the Holy Spirit's goal. The means is vision. For what the seeing look upon is sinless. No one who loves can judge, and what he sees is free of condemnation. And what he sees, he did not make, for it was given him to see, as was the vision that made his seeing possible. Okay, let's see what's going on around the world. You know, I told you the other day is Asala Puja, which is Dharma Day, but I found that some Buddhists practice it today. Out of holidays and observances, I found these things. Bald is in Day, different colored eye days, different colored eyes day, Etch-a-Sketch Day, Grange Day, which is a community agricultural organization, the oldest one, started back in the 1800s. Pecan Pie Day, the Caria Illinoisensis, the New Conversations Day, keep things, New Conversations Day, meeting new people and learning new things, and even the old people that you've been friends with. Look a little deeper. bring up a conversation about whether or not they're always happy like we're learning. Orangeman's Day, also known as the glorious 12th of the 12th, which was the 1829 Anglican uprising or overtaking in Ireland. Paper Bag Day and Simplicity Day. And then out of edible landscaping, we've got the Shin Asian pear, and it says, and it's a Pyrus pyrifolia, and it says of the Shin is a very large to large fruit with a full-bodied pear shape, pyriform, firm, white, crisp, juicy flesh, and sweet yet tart flavor. The skin is light to yellowish green. Tree is upright with slightly spreading growth and resistant to fire blight. Developed at UC Davis in a cross between Chinese pear variety and a Japanese pear variety. We have a favorable report on this variety from A.J. Bullard of Mount Olive, North Carolina. Korean Giant and Shin are his best fire blight resistant pears. Needs another Asian pear for pollination, space 10-foot circle for semi-dwarf, and 15-foot for standard tree size. Zones 4 through 8, so all through the Ozarks. Okay, and our word for peace is going to be from the Batak, B-A-T-A-K, Batak people maybe, of Indonesia. They're on, there's 1,750 roughly islands of the island nation of Indonesia. And the islands that the Batak people were originally from is Sumatra and Samosir. So, and their word for peace is Pardanean, if I'm pronouncing it properly. If not, pardon me. But Pardanean. Okay, be sure that you do your hourly practice of checking in to see if you're happy today. And if not, tell yourself, forgive and you will see this differently. Forgive and you will see this differently. All things are lessons God would have you learn. All things are lessons God would have you learn. Forgive and you will see this differently. Forgive and you will see this differently. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus, I will forgive and this will disappear. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus, I will forgive and this terror will disappear. All things are lessons God would have me learn. Stay happy. All things are lessons God would have me learn. And if you aren't happy, say, forgive and you will see this differently. Forgive and you will see this differently. To all that speaks of terror, answer thus, I will forgive and this will disappear. All things are lessons God would have me learn. All things are lessons God would have me learn. This lesson particularly meaningful for me because I learned so much. It was on Father's Day back, I think, 1993 or 4. Anyway, our word for peace is Pardanean from the Batak people of Indonesia. All things are lessons God would have me learn. Pardanean.